This one's for the vegans.
Let's eat.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Sam.
And you are watching the Theme Park Foodies, and we are back at Epcot for Food and Wine Festival 2023. As promised, vegan food crawl, our second time doing this, and our friend Nick, who, like I said last year, is an actual vegan or vegetarian. He's a vegetarian now, he's vegan last year, but he's here to help us out with his vegan palate to be able to taste the flavors of veganism here at Food and Wine 2023. Last year we had a lot of fun with this crawl, right?
We did, and I love when Nick agrees to do this with us. I think he's so informative and entertaining. And I feel like Jason and I are not like the best judges of vegetarian and vegan dishes.
Well, because we don't have them regularly.
Yeah, so I feel like it's not fair for us to rate vegan things. So that's why I love having Nick here to help us.
Yeah, and there are a lot of great things, some new things to this year that we're going to try out. I think we may try one thing from last year, but we will link last year's crawl in here because a lot of those things returned, and we want to pick out about 5 things that are kind of new. And if you're interested in a vegan or vegetarian diet, or maybe you just want to look for some good food, because there are some things in here that I may have slipped into our top 10 if I knew we weren't going to capture this into this video, you know? Like over in India, they have the
potato and pea samosas.
Samosas, yeah, exactly, yeah. And then also
Shimmering sips.
Yes.
Last year they had the guava mousse that we really liked, and this year it's like a guava cake. So.
Yeah, and then also the Odyssey Brewing, Beaker and Bunsen, they've come up with some interesting buffalo or vegan buffalo wings, right?
Chicken tenders, I think
they are. Nice.
I always love to go in there because there's AC and fun theming.
Yeah, and Nick's a big fan of buffalo too, so we gotta get his thoughts on that. All right, it's also raining, so I think maybe the Odyssey is the first thing we should start with. You ready?
I'm ready.
If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. Join us for our vegan food crawl here at Disney's Epcot's Food and Wine Festival 2023. All right, so that rain, it's starting to come down. So first thing we gotta do, head straight towards Spaceship Earth and bear left. All right, now when we get to Creations, we gotta slip underneath this breezeway, head towards Mission Space. All right, then after the breezeway, we go right and continue heading right past Test Track. At Flavors of Fire, we're gonna bear right, and then the Fry Basket's gonna be on our left. We're walking past that. And we've made it. The Odyssey Brewing. Test out more flavors from Beaker and Bunsen. All right, we've made it to Brewing Lab at the Odyssey. And they're advertising exactly what we're getting right here in front. Thankfully, no buffaloes have been harmed. Nick!
Jay!
You've been helping Beaker and Bunsen out over at the Odyssey?
I have.
This whole time? They've had you back?
You love pickles like I love olives, but it was not my idea to make the pickle milkshake.
All right, so we're over here at the Odyssey Brewing Lab, and we're here to try out. You came to mind the moment I saw this pop up. So these are buffalo chicken tenders. Last year we had the buffalo Brussels sprouts, right, Sam?
Yes.
And these are made with Impossible meat. It's a plant-based blue cheese and a plant-based ranch. So let's dig in.
All right.
Let's eat, as they would say. This looks funky. It looks crispy. It's weird. I hear your thoughts.
I got mostly the fake ranch, fake blue cheese on that one.
So you don't like ranch or blue cheese, or you?
I do.
Okay.
I was saying the piece that I grabbed just there was like mostly that.
Yeah.
I'll try another one. I'm gonna grab another knife, I think.
Yeah. You bite samples. See how the texture is in that. So for me, the texture is strange. It doesn't taste like, usually fake meat, you don't want to tell it's fake meat. To me, I get a prominent flavor of fake meat now. Given I eat fake meat, I eat real meat all the time. So I'm wondering how you feel about it.
You ever have chicken nuggets? Because that's the exact texture of chicken nuggets.
It's true. It tastes to me like pre-frozen chicken nuggets, you know?
Have we talked the difference between a chicken strip and a chicken tender?
No. Well, is a chicken strip processed meat and a tender is like breast meat, right?
I think of this as more of a chicken tender because it can be like a long chicken nugget.
Yeah.
I think a chicken strip is more like you can get the, it looks like chicken if you pull it apart. So were these are chicken strips? What are they called?
I think they were tenders.
Okay, so chicken tenders, and I think texturally that works out perfectly. Because to me, and I could be wrong, but to me a chicken tender is like a big chicken nugget.
Yeah, well, chicken nugget is all processed chicken meat thrown together. So yes, I agree with that. It definitely has that chicken nugget or chicken tender type of flavor. It almost gives me a reminiscence of Burger King. It's very crispy on the outside, and I can't tell the difference between vegan ranch. Well, I would say normal ranch probably is a bit creamier, but I do think that the viscous vegan ranch still tastes probably as much as ranch tastes. I don't know how you feel.
I feel like usually you get one or the other. You don't get both blue cheese and ranch on top of each other.
Yeah.
You can, they might serve you both, but typically you don't eat them both at the same time, because I don't.
Yeah.
So it's an odd pairing of flavors to me, based on that, but I would say this is pretty par for the course for this type of meal for me.
Okay. So what would you give it? Because you were the connoisseur of vegan chicken tenders, so I feel like you got to know. And you've also, when you were young, you were vegan your whole life.
No.
So you can compare the real.
Of course, yeah. Numbers-wise, I would give this dish a 5.
And
average.
As me, a seasoned non-vegan, I would agree. I would say it's a 5. I wouldn't run back to it. I'm not disappointed. Like, I'm going to eat it.
Right, yeah.
I like the buffalo chicken. I think do you prefer the Brussels sprouts from last year?
No, I'll typically go the fake meat over just a plant. But that's just me, again.
Yeah,
so,
I would prefer these two.
Because sometimes, something I think about a lot now when I'm figuring out fake meat substitutions is that I like, when I'm putting a meal together, I want to substitute the protein and not just the vehicle for sauce.
Yes.
So like, if I was substituting a chicken strip or a chicken tender, there's a lot of protein you're missing. So a Brussels sprout isn't going to bring that. Buffalo Brussels sprouts I think is a good side to something else, but I don't think it could be the main course. So.
Makes sense. All right, so this isn't vegan, but I wanted to try because we didn't have it in our last video, so we're just slipping this in there. It's the Frozen Fusion. It's a pomegranate tea, right, Sam?
Yes, pomegranate and raspberry herbal tea. And then there's orange ice cream molecule.
Yeah, the problem is the orange ice cream, so that's why it's not vegan. So let's try it out, because we had the pickle milkshake, and
it's much better than the pickle milkshake.
I can confirm I like this more than pickle milkshake. I actually like this a lot.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I'm not a tea drinker.
You know who is a tea drinker? Yeah. It's Tea Room on Instagram.
That's right.
Sam, you try it.
That's an 8.
Yeah.
That's
I love the
so good.
With the pomegranate, I'm like drooling right now.
I didn't even think I liked pomegranate.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. You get a little souvenir cup too. I love that. Yeah, no, I agree with your 8, Sam. This is good. All right, so the Frozen Fusion was good. The blue cheese, the vegan blue cheese, was very pungent. But now we have to go head out into the hot Florida sun to have some hot soup. All right, so right outside Brewing Lab, right as we get to World Showcase, across from Mexico is going to be the Noodle Exchange. They have one vegan dish here, one thing that pretends to be vegetarian and vegan, but it is not. Nick actually informed me of this. They have an Impossible pork bowl, but it has chicken broth in it. So that is not vegetarian or vegan, right?
I don't know why they negated it.
Yeah. Makes no sense at all. But this is vegan. It is the Tofu Ramen Bowl. And what's in this, Sam?
Shiitake mushrooms, pickled carrots, and daikon radish, shaved peppers, baby bok choy, and a citrus sesame broth.
So I always enjoy bok choy in my soups. I think it adds like a good crunchy texture. I don't know how you feel, Nick.
Yeah, whenever I see bok choy in a soup, I say bok choy is much joy.
Man, you got the dad jokes lined up today.
For days.
They also have tofu, obviously, in this. Sam, you're not a fan of tofu, right?
No, I'm a picky eater.
So I like the way tofu mixes in with the broth. They actually pre-make these and then they ladle the broth in as you order it. So but I'm surprised the tofu really does absorb the broth very well. The bok choy is like all already together.
And this booth did just open not that long ago. It wasn't open on opening day. Hawaii and Noodle Exchange opened on August 15th.
We were too busy to get it because we had so many things going on with Halloween. We were going to do a video, but we were working that day. So I'm happy we can only have it now. So what are your thoughts, Nick, so far?
I'm really enjoying this. I think you mentioned how the broth is absorbed into the tofu really well. Yeah. Tofu is a fantastic ingredient for all vegetarians and vegans. They know that already. Particularly because it absorbs flavor really well. So a lot of times when you're preparing tofu, you'll press all the water out, and then when that makes room to absorb new flavors. So putting it into this broth, I don't know if it's a soy-based broth or whatever, but it absorbs it very well, as you can see in the color, but when you bite into it, it's also there as well, while having that kind of, not quite meaty texture, but like a soft, extra firm style tofu. So I'm liking that a lot.
I like the crunchiness from the bok choy as well. And then I feel like there's like a small pepper in here. It adds just a little hint of spice.
I also feel like these are reasonably priced.
Yeah, this is $5.75
for the portion that you're getting.
Yeah,
compared to some of the other items.
That's very carby, filling. So yeah, I agree. $5.75 for this is pretty good. Look at the size of the bowl, too. Yeah, I'm getting like soy sauce and like sesame oil flavors in the broth. So what do you think, Nick? What would you rate this as a professional vegan?
So I would rate this 7.
Ooh.
I like this one a lot.
And you're a tough critic, so a 7 from Nick is good.
Yeah, as far as me being a non-vegan, I swear I'm not just copying Nick. I would also agree with the 7. I think that it's honestly something I would come back for. I always enjoy tofu in broth, especially as someone who enjoys miso soup. So yeah, no, I think it's good, and I think it's 7 definitely makes sense. All right, so for our next spot, we have to pass through Mexico and go down World Showcase. All right, so right past China is the India booth and the returning potato and pea samosas. Now, we weren't really gonna do returning things, but I loved these last year. I wanted to get them again, so I want to see what Nick thinks of them. So it's got a potato interior. I think the outside sauce is like a pea exterior. Did you taste pea in that?
Can you rephrase that?
Oh, I meant like, you know, like can you taste pea? Pea! What, you don't like the taste of pea?
Yellow pea or green pea?
green pea. Green peas.
Yeah,
do you taste the peas? Yeah, okay.
I'm not gonna say I like pea.
I'm just messing with you, man.
I know. Still really good though. I remember that. Oh man.
I felt like it had like a very good like potato-y interior last year, and then it had like this crispy exterior. I think even like you're not a vegan, you would enjoy this, you know?
Yeah, these are great. Staple of Indian cuisine, at least American Indian cuisine for sure.
And I feel like Indian cuisine has a lot of good like vegan or vegetarian flavors to it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of good spices, and I feel like people take spices for granted and that they don't realize how much it adds flavor to everything, which seems like that should be a given, right? But if you don't try it, then, you know, meat seasonings taste great on vegetables too. So,
yeah, yep, agreed.
So, and the samosa, just like, I don't know, classically delicious, spiced correctly. And I gotta see what is this sauce that's on here. I gotta look at the card here.
Yeah, let's check that out. So this is coriander lime cream. So I think that's that little zest that you kind of get when you taste it too.
Absolutely, helps brighten up the dish. Sometimes kind of heavy foods like this, I would still consider this a heavy food. Adding a citrus flavor to it really brightens it up with that little bit of acidity. So that's a good combination to throw a little bit of lime in there. I don't remember what I gave it last year, but today I'm giving this an 8. I like this more than I liked it last year. Yeah, I feel like sometimes it could depend on the day too. Sometimes you get a better dish than others. But yeah, even I'll definitely be coming back for this a few times this season. I was gonna put this in our top 10, but I knew we'd have it here, so had to make sure we plugged it in again. Probably my favorite vegan dish of this festival. We still have more to try. All right, we don't have to go too far for our next bite. All right, so right past India is Refreshment Outpost. This is a spot that's kind of always here, but every now and then they'll have a little thing for the festival, and this is the spicy Githeri. I hope I'm saying that right. Sam, what's in it?
This has white beans, pigeon peas, curried Ben's original long grain and wild rice, and kachumbari slaw.
Ben knows how to do his rice, so.
Ben is very trustworthy.
So Nick, I feel like you've said before that beans are like a good vehicle when you don't have meat.
Absolutely, you know? And I mentioned before the necessity to replace a protein when you're making a dish vegan, or when you're just approaching vegan cooking in general. So what I like about this is that there's beans and rice, which together make a complete protein, which is what you need for muscle synthesis,
yes,
right?
Yeah,
so rice and beans classically across all of the, many different cuisines go together very well. So looking forward to this one.
All right, let's dig in. try to get a little bit of everything. I think the rice is a bit, how do you say, al dente? A little, I wouldn't say undercooked, but I would say just a bit tougher. It could be cooked a little bit more. Not against it though. It is like a wild rice though, so I feel like you're gonna get that graininess with wild rice. I do like how the beans and mix in with the flavor of the rice. There's a little spice in there. I'm trying to figure out how to describe.
Spice would be probably that it's curried. I believe that's
yes, that's exactly.
Yeah, so curry is a combination of spices. Like in the United States, we have like curry spice is like a thing you pull off the shelf, but that's actually a combination of several spices. So when you order like a curry, it could be any number of things. I think it just generally refers to having spices in a specific way of cooking.
Okay.
Yeah. So speaking of that slaw though, like I mentioned before about how the coriander lime sauce that was on the samosa, how that helped brighten the dish. I think the slaw helps lighten the dish too because I don't know if there's much acidity in it, but just being fresh really helps, you know.
With the flavor and the textures, it adds a little bit more of a fresh taste to it. And then also when you have the onions on top, it adds a bit of a bite that helps bring the flavor profile and the textures of everything together. Because you have the smoothness of the beans, you have kind of that graininess of the rice, and you have this like crunch, I feel like, from the slaw on top with the onions and the carrots. I would go 6.
6.
I was hesitant, but I'm gonna go 6. I would eat this again. I can't eat beans all the time though, so I won't eat this again.
Please don't.
Beans are not great for my stomach, but I really enjoy this. If I could, I would eat all of it. What do you think, Sam?
I live by myself, so I will eat this again. But I agree with your 6. I thought it was above average, even though I haven't had this type of dish before.
Yeah.
Based on just flavor profiles and everything mixed in, I would give that a 6.
I think it contrasts well with the other vegan flavors we eat too.
Yeah.
Everything has been different. I think you want that, especially from a food and wine festival. All right, so for our next spot, we have to head a little farther down World Showcase, but it's something new to this year I'm very interested in. All right, so this is not vegan, but we stopped by the America Pavilion Joffrey stand.
But this is for the festival. It is a festival offering.
Yeah.
It's a nutty caramel cold brew.
So we wanted to try this at one point, and we figured, why not try it now?
Delicious, and it's not as sweet as you would think it would be. And there's also mocha.
Do you taste that mocha flavor? Does it have like a little dark mocha flavor?
Yeah, very, very subtle. It's really good. This is one of the, I feel like Joffrey's is very hit or miss for me, but I would give this an 8.
Yeah, I kind of want to get my own. All right, so we've made it to Greece. The Impossible Moussaka. What you hear in the background is actually the band playing for Morocco. They've always got some great live music here. They don't actually say what is in this, but there's a vegan leaf next to it, which means it's vegan.
What's that? It's moussaka.
Do you know what's in Moussaka or no? Because I don't.
Don't quote me on this, but I described it earlier as kind of like a Greek lasagna.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know how accurate that is. It's been a minute since I've had it because I haven't had a vegan version of it before.
Okay. So let's try it out. Let's see how it breaks.
It looks like shepherd's pie to me.
Oh, maybe like a vegan shepherd. It's got potato-y, looks like bottom.
What does it taste like?
Tastes like a Greek lasagna with vegan cheese.
Yeah, it's somewhere between a lasagna and I think shepherd's pie was a good comparison too.
Yeah, it's got like a potato-y type of bottom, right?
To me, it's like there's like a little sweetness to it.
Yeah, that's where I was. There is. You're right. There's some sweet. Is it like?
I don't hate it at all.
It's like it's like a tomato sauce type of sweetness. I wasn't expecting. I like the texture. The texture is very much lasagna. Kind of like melt in your mouth, kind of little potato-y, chewy bottom. I would give that a 5. For me, for my non-vegan palate, so I wouldn't run back to it again, but I think it's good and I'm not disappointed that I got it.
You can see there's eggplant in there too.
Yeah, I was tasting that, the eggplant.
So one thing I judge like theme park attractions on is if I think I could make that ride myself, and if I can, it's not a good theme park attraction. I apply the same here. I don't think I can make something like this that's as good as this. So I will give this, I'm gonna give this a 7.
Okay. I think it's good. All right, so the very last item on our crawl, we are at the front of World Showcase. Shimmering sips. This usually is the Dole Whip area, but they don't have Dole Whip here this year. And last year this was a guava mousse, but this year it's a cake, right?
Yeah, Yes, last year it was like a rectangle. It was mousse, and I think it had like a cookie bottom, if I remember, and we really liked it last year.
I think that was our highest rated thing last year.
Yeah. So it sort of looked like a pink Twinkie.
Yeah.
So I have very high expectations for this.
And I think it's a good size too. This was $4.75.
Wow. Coconut on top.
Yeah, a little crunched coconut.
So the cake is very dense. I don't love the cake. I really like the whipped cream and the coconut, but I'm not loving the cake as much. I kind of like the iteration where it was mousse and then the cookie.
It's interesting that they made a vegan like whipped cream. Nick, how do you feel about the cake? It looks moist.
So I actually disagree with Sam. I really like the cake. I like the whole thing altogether. Whereas the density kind of tripped her up. I like that it kind of holds the dish together. And I would say it might be a little bit too moist if that's not what you're going for. But as for me, I really like the moisture level, and it's almost like makes it feel heavier.
It's like wet food.
I'd say considering the, what's that?
It's a wet food. Wet foods are good.
I know Jason is a fan of the wets.
Yes.
He said it before.
Goos and wets.
But if the cake was really light, I don't think that the frosting on top would register as well. So having a difference in density really helps with that. So, and the flavor is good.
I really like the top part. For me, I don't really like the flavor of the cake.
All right, so Sam, what would you give it?
I would give it a 6. I still think
you're still saying you like it.
I think it tastes good. I liked the other iteration better.
All right, what about you, Nick?
So I'm gonna give this a 9.
Oh!
It's the only dessert that I've had today, and probably recently, honestly. But I really like this a lot.
So this is the top dish for you, the whole crawl.
For me, yeah. I'm not sure what I gave one last year, but that was also very good. And I actually thought that was what we were eating until I actually saw it in front of me. But I wasn't, even with such high expectations, I wasn't disappointed, which is difficult to come by. And especially in vegan baking, since it's a lot more of a chemistry science than just, because you don't have eggs, eggs do a lot of things for baked goods. A lot of people, non-vegans don't realize this. It's not just as a binder, it's also for leavening, it's for just composition, proteins, things like that. So eggs do a lot for baked goods. So not having to replace that in different ways, I'm not sure which way they did, really has to overcompensate for a lot. So, and I think with this, like I said, texture is good for me, the density is good for me, but being able to accomplish all of that in one vegan dessert is very tricky, so that's a 9 for me.
Yeah, I'm happy we finished strong. All right, so we were very nervous about this, but for the first time ever in our channel, we now have shirts available, like this tank top. It's actually very breathable, this material. And Sam, you also had a tie-dye shirt.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different styles and colors. Yeah. So we'll put the link.
Link's gonna be in the description of the video. You can check it out. You see all the different designs that we have. Give us some feedback too in the comments. If there's something that you want, some type of merchandise you would like to see, let us know. We will listen. We'll try to provide. And yeah, we hope you guys enjoy the content that you find and all the merch that you find in that link.
Who doesn't want to wear Frank?
All right, so that does it for the vegan food crawl. Sam, I'm excited for the new booths that are going to be coming out for the 100th anniversary over here at Epcot. Unfortunately, we won't be here for opening day, but there's a lot to be excited about, right?
We will be somewhere very exciting the day those booths open.
All right, so that does it for our vegan food crawl over here at Epcot's Food and Wine Festival 2023. I feel like I enjoyed this vegan food crawl a bit more than last year, although I didn't review last year's before we did this one. Nick, what was your favorite thing that we ate here?
Ooh, I really like that guava cake. I think that was from
Shimmering Sips.
Shimmering Sips.
Yeah,
consistently good.
Yeah, Shimmering Sips is consistently good. I also enjoyed the guava cake. I think that and these samosas were my top 2. I don't know how you feel.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, we had the buffalo chicken tenders. They were definitely tenders.
Tenders.
As we spoke earlier. I think for me that was my weakest. I don't know how you feel about like the weakest thing that you had, but for me, out of everything that I had, those are the things I would most not go back for.
Yeah, I would agree. Probably the weakest, just because it is more common than the other things. Just in vegan foods that are available.
It feels like it could be mass-produced.
Exactly.
While the other things feel like they were somewhat unique. Sam, you were not a fan of the guava cake, right?
I wasn't a fan. It just wasn't my most favorite thing because I'm used to eating very rich, luscious desserts all the time that are not vegan.
Yeah.
So I think the taste was a little different for me.
And Nick, you actually liked the Greek lasagna, right?
I did.
Moussaka.
Moussaka, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was good. But yeah, so just so you guys can get an idea of each of our palates. Nick, vegan palate, Sam and I, not so vegan palates, but Sam and I's palates are very different as well. I think we had, again, a great vegan food crawl. There are so many awesome things to be able to try here at Epcot's Food and Wine Festival that appeals to all different dietary restrictions and diets. And I'm really excited to come back and maybe eat a few of my vegan favorites alongside with my not so vegan favorites in the future.
And we saw Joey Fatone in between.
Yeah.
We can't leave Joey Fatone out of this video.
Yes, I didn't get any shots of Joey Fatone. We were just enjoying the concert.
It was nice.
Yeah, he did an awesome job.
Eat to the Beat is still going on at Epcot. You know, you can just jump in line.
Yeah, and last year we did a video on restaurants that do the Eat to the Beat concert series, dining package. So if you want to see that, we'll link that in the description of this video. And if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Liking will really help our channel grow. It pushes this video out into the stratosphere of the YouTube algorithm. Helps other people find the video. Subscribing, it also helps our channel grow. Hit the bell notifications so that way you're notified every time when videos come out, which is when, Sam?
Every Monday and Thursday at 12 p.m.
Thanks so much for watching. Don't count the days.
Don't make the days count.
We will see you next time. That's all, folks. I have to go back on what I said earlier. I'm going to give the chicken tenders a knock up just for the fact that they have AC.
It's true.
Like,
Brewing is a good spot.
Remember when they had World Showplace? Nick,
Yeah.
you never experienced World Showplace.
No.
So like one year during COVID, they had an indoor area where you could go inside and they had multiple food booths, so you could just chill
and they
indoors.
had live entertainment in there too. Remember the piano player?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of good booths in there. It was a good spot to hang out.
Yeah.
Maybe more indoor spots.
More
Florida.
AC.
Come on.